Welcome to the Roost News, the place for all things volunteer. I am Lillian Lee, co-lead for the Roost News, and we have three very special guests with us today. The topic, Cinemaniacs Movie Club. When I say the word Cinemaniacs, it brings a smile to my face. We're going to get back to that in just a few minutes, but I would like to start with the mission of the Cinemaniacs Movie Club, and I'm going to read that to you. The topic is Cinemaniacs Movie Club in Nevada. Mission statement: to offer our members a diversity of thought-provoking films intended to stimulate discourse and learning. We have three individuals who will tell us all about it in just a few minutes. But before we get started with the details, let's meet our three guests. And they are, the first one is the AARP Nevada Cinemaniacs lead volunteer, and that is Janice Alpern.
Yeah.
AARP Nevada staff liaison for the movie club, Mary Rodriguez. Business operations analyst, and Mary Richards, volunteer assistant and guest check-in for Cinemaniacs. Thank you to each of you for joining us today. Okay, let's get started. If each of you will share just a little bit about you, why AARP, why you wanted to be a volunteer or a staff with AARP, and what brought you to AARP. Janice, we'll start with you.
Thank you very much, Lillian. And of course, thank you to and Roost News for having us on today. We're all very excited. Yes, I volunteered for AARP back in 2006. I had just retired and I attended an event for a learning organization. And when I came out, there was one of our members from the staff, Nancy Anderson, back then, and she had a table set up for AARP. I looked at some of the brochures and noticed that they were very active at the time with the chamber in Las Vegas. And I, having been active with an American chamber where we previously lived, that was what the hook was for me. And after I became a member, I volunteered for the several of the chambers, the last being the Women's Chamber of Commerce, until, of course, that dissolved. And then I became very active in what was going on politically. And I worked with Barry Gold because it was a time of the nominations for president. And here we are again. So that goes back quite some time. And then I was asked if I were interested in leading a movie group, which of course I was delighted and said yes. And once we started, it was Nancy's idea. We held a contest to name the organization.
Okay.
And Cinemaniacs won hands down. So we've been meeting. We meet every other month at the AARP Nevada State Office, and we've been meeting there every year for 10 years. We
Great.
celebrated our 10th anniversary.
Okay.
Just this month.
Wonderful. Yep. Well, volunteer Mary.
Yes. Hello, I'm Mary Richard. I've been a volunteer for about 14 years. And the way I came aboard with AARP, I've been a member from AARP for 20 something years.
Wow.
But the way that I came aboard to be a volunteer for AARP, I'm a Zumba instructor for 16 years. And I was asked by Miami headquarters, our Zumba headquarters, to perform at our Life at 50 Plus Expo that was here in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for 3 days. I just showed a demo. And I was very impressed by the volunteers that were there that day. They're very kind. And Nancy Anderson was there, and a lot of the volunteers who are still with us. Mm-hmm. And I was very impressed. And I said, wow, how can I do this? How can I join your group? So I became a volunteer that day. Mm-hmm. And I'm very involved with volunteering here at the state headquarters. I am on the MAT team, the management assistant team. I help out with packing all our bags for our health fairs. Cinemaniacs. I also retired from Warner Brothers in California. And when I heard that the little buzz about a film group, a
Mhm,
movie club, I was very
mhm.
excited because I actually worked in the movie industry.
Oh, nice.
I was very impressed with it. And I'm one of the original founders, along with Janice and a few of our other ones. So, and I've been very involved with volunteers for the last several years. And I just
Wonderful.
love what I do.
Wonderful. And now to our staff, Mary.
Sure. I've been with AARP for 16 years.
Okay.
And I've been the liaison for the AARP Nevada Cinemaniacs for, I believe, the past 4 years to support Janice and core group volunteers. Um, Hopefully providing surprise and delight opportunities for the movie club. Prior to AARP, I worked with a grassroots nonprofit committed to providing transportation and other services for older adults 60 and over. So working with seniors has been very near and dear to my heart for quite some time.
Wonderful.
Thank you for
Thank
this
you
opportunity.
all for that. And it's great for our staff and volunteers to get to know the guests just a little bit. But let's transition back to Cinemaniacs Movie Club. You touched on it a little bit, but what is Cinemaniacs Movie Club? How did it get started? How long it's been in existence? Share information about that.
Okay, well, I'll start off with that answer. We started back 14 years ago, as I mentioned, and at the first meeting, there were 5 or 6 of us. 4 of us are still members, so that says something, I guess. But
Yeah.
I can say how disappointed I was after what was put into starting the group and the number of folks who showed up. It was a bit of a downer. However,
Mm,
I kept persevering.
good.
And when we first started, I did it all, every bit of it, other than the admin work, sending out notices. Nancy Anderson did it then.
Mhm.
And since that time, we've grown, and we now have a team of 6 members. Mary is one of them. Mary Volunteer is one of our members who's been with us since the beginning.
Mhm.
We have made changes from, we show trailers at every meeting, movie trailers.
Yes.
And we discuss the film of the previous months and then vote on films for the next meeting.
Okay.
So we started off, I would show 6 trailers and we would decide on 4 films. But over the years, we have incorporated screen bites, which I
Mhm.
lead, telling about movie news, upcoming films, what's going on in the industry. And we have a wonderful gal who leads the to binge or not to binge section, which is our
Okay.
newest, and that has to do with streaming services
Mhm.
series. And we also have cut down the trailers from 6 to 5
Okay.
and films from 4 to 3. And each member can see the film individually. We don't go as a group. So we see the films on our own, and then we have a team
Mhm.
that leads the discussion. Prior to that, we would have volunteers, at the meeting, who wants to lead this film. But now we have a discussion team, and it has made the film discussions that much more interesting because the folks who volunteered for this are really good at what they do. So we really have a wonderful group, and we're hoping that we have more folks interested in starting their own groups throughout the country for AARP. And I do have to commend Mary Rodriguez, our staff lead, to say that she is the most involved and has been such a wonderful help to us. And if we ever need assistance,
Mhm.
Mary comes to the rescue. So thank you
Great.
for that.
Great. Anyone else
With
would like to share a little bit more about that? If not, we can continue on the conversation. Okay, well, let's think about it. you have members. Janice was talking about all these great members. She was disappointed a little bit and some leaving. But what is the process in recruiting members? And I'm not sure if recruiting is the exact word, but how do you get new members to come in? And do they have to be AARP volunteers or not?
Mary Rodriguez, you want to start off, or you?
You,
Okay.
no, you bet. So,
Okay. Well, actually, yeah, you do not need to be an AARP member
Okay.
to be a member of Cinemaniacs. However, if, for example, we were reviewing a film, which we do from time to time, then, and you wanted to work at that premiere showing in one of the theaters, then we would ask you to become a member of AARP.
Okay.
Yeah. And to recruit members, well, first of all, I have to say, I think that word of mouth is pretty much
Okay.
what's happened for a long time. Somebody comes to the meeting and they're enthused and they tell their friends who are also interested. But at the same point, when we have movies for grown-ups or Cinemaniacs premieres, we have made up a very new flyer thanks to meetings like this. In fact, I think it was when you and I first met, Lillian. We need a one-page handout talking about Cinemaniacs, which we have on the AARP Nevada table for folks to pick up and read more about it. And then Mary puts up a notice on the AARP email monthly calendar, right, Mary?
Okay.
Yes. And as well, you know, we do social media posts to get it out. Of course, you know, we have worked with Movies for Grownups, the AARP Movies for Grownups, to when they registration pages to indicate that the movie is hosted by the Cinemaniacs, AARP Nevada Cinemaniacs. That way promoting the group even to a wider base.
That's great because I am co-lead for our Movies for Grownups in my area of the state. And I was wondering, so you are collaborating then with the Movies for Grownups as well? Is that what I'm hearing? Collaborating for information or to share about the, okay, great.
Yes, so when we send the states the opportunities to have the free movie screenings, we actually submit to Janice the different movies that are available, and if we are, as a state, we do ask the Movies for Grownups if they would definitely include being hosted by the Cinemaniacs Movie Club in their registration page.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And I just want to add to a little something that Janice had said. When we do the trailers and we review them, there's some movies that I kind of question about, but when I see the trailers and then we do a little discussion about it, I say, oh, I definitely want to go see that. So it's kind of opened up my mind to other venues, other genres, I should say, of the movies.
Okay. Well, we're talking about collaboration. Is there any other organization or group that you collaborate with?
Not at this time.
No, okay. And let's delve just a little bit more for your Cinemaniacs. You review the trailers, and then I heard you say earlier that people are looking individually in their own home environment at this time. Is that correct? Is that
yeah, for the most part. Actually, we've only used theater movies for years, and we just started using Netflix when we were meeting throughout COVID on Zoom.
Okay.
So we never missed a beat.
Yes, Zoom.
You know, Zoom. Thank goodness for Zoom, right? We're still using it. Yeah, so therefore, the films are seen in the theater or on Netflix, and the trailers are obviously made up of theater movies and Netflix films.
So after you see the movies or after the members view the movies, then you have a Zoom call to discuss it, or is the discussion done in person? How is that done?
All the meetings are in person.
Okay.
They were on Zoom during COVID,
Okay.
and so as I mentioned, some movie groups in the past that I've heard of, they go together as a group to see the film.
Okay.
But sometimes that's inconvenient, you know, that the date they can't get together, or the theater. We have many theaters, and Vegas is a big place, so it's easier to
Yes.
see the movie at a theater that's closer to you.
So you say some groups. So are you saying that you have different smaller groups of Cinemaniacs in Nevada, or is it one large group? How is that structured?
Well, I used to attend Ollie classes, and in fact, that's where I met Nancy Anderson for the first time. Saw her table set up there, and that's how we got started. But to answer your question, at that time, I mean, I took classes during COVID, but I haven't gone back to campus. It's quite a drive for me. And at that time, they did have a group that met in the evenings. And it was just local residents, and I never, looked into it.
So with the individual groups, do these groups come together at a certain point to discuss the movies, or is it still in a small group setting?
You come up with the greatest ideas, Lillian. No, that would be something I could do, I guess, and figure out if there are other movie groups. I just, figure that we're retired and they're probably still working, and that's why they meet at night and we meet in the day. But you give me further ideas, so thank you.
Well, great. And so that sort of leads into the results part of this conversation, and you all have touched on it already a little bit. As you continue with your Cinemaniacs movie club, what do you see in the future as doing differently or adding on, or everything is just wonderful? You're going to leave it as it is, or I'm hearing now that you're continuing to think of new ideas to add to the program.
Well, yeah, I hate to keep starting, but actually,
go ahead.
I guess I jumped the gun when I told you everything that we've accomplished over the
No,
years.
that's great, because we're talking about results, and that's a part of the results. Yes.
No, we keep learning and growing, and we're always open to new ideas. And I think we're always adding to our original program. As I said, we've certainly reached out now. We're using streaming services to discuss, which so many of us, there are still many of us who either, prefer not to go to the theater. And, movie tickets are getting more and more expensive. So being able to discuss streaming doesn't leave folks out of the meetings, because in the old days, people would show up, honestly, and they'd never have seen the films when they were in just the theaters. And even to this day, sometimes folks don't go to theater, they just see the Netflix films. So
I think with the pandemic, that sort of put all of us on that pathway of moving to the TV, to Netflix or YouTube or whomever, to watch our movies. So Mary Staff, I'm going to ask you, as far as the future, this is the only nationwide movie like this, according to what I read, Cinemaniacs Movie Club. Have you interacted or shared with other AARP staff about what you're doing in the state of Nevada? Have they reached out to you and said, we'd like to do something like that? Give us some tips. What have you found out?
So, yes, and Janice has been very forthcoming with a couple of the states. However, I do believe that Nevada is the only sustaining club in the country at this time. But we are always open to sharing with other staff from other states, in the hopes that they might be able to build their own movie club. It really helps, actually, with isolation, getting folks together. So the broader we can go with this, it definitely will help people.
Great, great.
with
Yes,
friendship.
oh yeah, I agree. I think the more people who can help people about the isolation, don't feel isolated. And going to a movie is one of those definitely activities that you can do. And it's also a lot of fun and it helps with, so they said, brain health. And so all of that is important when you're wanting to age in place and age well. And I know there's something out called Disrupt Aging, and that's one way to disrupt aging is looking at movies. Okay. So you talked a little bit about what you'd like to do and what you've learned. Think about, and I only had one, but I'm going to say two now, or maybe three, because it's three of you all. Each of you give me a memorable moment with your Cinemaniacs movie club. I know you've got some really great opportunities to share with other people, but what's a memorable activity? I'll start with Mary Volunteer. What's something that comes to your mind that you just will never forget about that Cinemaniacs movie club activity?
Well, thinking back to our very beginning 10 years ago, I learned a lot over the years and different films to look for, but I think the most memorable and the one that I was so overjoyed with was our Academy Awards meet.
Oh,
And we do this, we meet after the announcements and so forth. And I
mhm,
think that it just adds to the joy of belonging to this club.
mhm.
Um, I've been to the Oscars, I've been there a few times, but just that alone, I think impressed me. And just seeing new people coming aboard in our
Yes.
meetings, that's such a joy that there's a growth there.
Okay.
So yeah, but that's most memorable. For me, it's just a lot of memories involved, but
Yes.
over the years.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Janice?
Well,
Oh, I know you have a lot. I know you have a lot, Janice.
I do, of course, I have a lot. But to add to Mary's statement about our Oscars annual event, we have a ballot that our members fill
Wow.
out
Okay.
and submit, and we give prizes. Thank you to the generous donation by AARP Nevada for the winner. So, and then we have games. So it's quite an event. And then, of course, I'd have to say two memorable events, obviously, was at our 5th year anniversary when we had a meeting in a little store. Mary Rodriguez, do you remember the name of that store? Some Movie World or something? I don't remember.
It was movies and something.
Movies and candy or something.
Movies and
Wow.
candy.
Okay.
Something like that.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we met there, and with the AARP had set up such wonderful goodies for us, and we had a video of the day with a lot of our members contributing to it, and and then we showed our films right there. We conducted a regular meeting, but topping them all off was the anniversary party we just had in April, 10 years. Oh my gosh. I don't know if she's going to be upset with me if I mention her name, but Jet took over, and she's a wonderful gal on our team. And due to her creativity, we had a Mad Hatter's tea party
Oh, cute.
and the most wonderful goodies I've ever tasted here in Las Vegas. And it was from a wonderful bakery. And also she made up a great game. She's our game person too, special events coordinator and leader of To Binge or Not to Binge. I mean, she's got many hats for us.
Okay.
And she had played a spectacular game that she made up herself using a PowerPoint program
Very good.
with many questions about movies, and we had to write down the right answer, and it was so creative. It was great.
Right.
But to end this portion, one of the most memorable things that has happened is at one of our most recent meetings when we asked our new members why they decided to join Cinemaniacs. And one woman stood up and said, "Because I love movies and my husband doesn't, and I have no one to discuss them with."
Wonderful.
And I was thrilled to find Cinemaniacs.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Well, staff Mary, what's your memorable occasion?
Well, I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes.
But that when the discussion leaders
Mhm.
do a surprise dress up, play the part when they're doing their discussions.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. They put a lot into. It's a great just to hear them speak about the movies
Mhm.
in their attire, their dress up attire. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. That's for
Wow, this is
me, in
really
addition to what Brienne Jack.
wow, they dress up as the character or characters in the movie. That's really neat. Okay. Well, you all I know have a lot more of things that are exciting about Cinemaniacs. I love that Cinemaniacs movie club. But we're going to transition to what about you touched on it, Janice, a little bit, new members. And I was going to say, what were some of the feedback from your new members? But it seems that you summed it up with that one lady's comment about her husband not enjoying movies, but she did. And that I think is, it's sort of typical a lot in society that sometimes one or the other likes the movies and the other does not. But that's great. That's a great way to end on what it is that really brings new members to Cinemaniacs Movie Club. So as we begin to bring closure, what is something, or is there anything else you all would like to share that has not been shared? And remember that your audience, your other volunteers in AARP and other staff members for AARP, is there anything else you would like to share about Cinemaniacs Movie Club to them?
Mary Volunteer, is there anything you'd like to talk about? Why don't you start off for a change, huh?
Well, I just enjoy so much, and especially when we have new members, just to see their excitement about meeting new people. I mean, anyone is able to come. Um, just it's open, and I've learned so much over the 10 years that we have had this club, and maybe some of the movies I wouldn't even think of watching, and I did watch after the discussion or after seeing the trailer. So I think it opens up our minds. We have to keep the brain going is the mainly thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just open up your mind to new ideas.
Mhm.
So that's it. And I agree with what Janice said about the new member, that it does open up to new friendship. I mean,
Mhm.
I've met so many wonderful new members, and that's it. Just
Okay.
keep growing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I neglected to mention that we have anywhere from 18 to 25 members at a meeting at
Wow.
a time
Turnout.
with well over 30 reservations. We do need to make reservations,
Mhm.
and that's the result. So there's always interest usually now in from over 30 people, and we have about 50 members active on our mailing list.
Okay.
Obviously, they're not active all at one time, but they've,
Sure.
asked to either be kept on the list because they want to know about the new films that are coming out and they can't make it to the meeting, or they can come to the meeting.
Yeah.
And the major reason that I was hoping to encourage other AARP groups to start their own film groups. And as Mary Rodriguez mentioned, we would be open to assisting them in any way we could with what information we've gleaned over the last 10 years. I think the word we were looking for, what's so important, is social networking.
Yes, okay.
And that's very, very, very important for us. And also, it's the life of learning. You never stop learning.
Correct.
And yeah, so thank you for this opportunity
Oh,
today.
yes. Oh, yes. Mary Rodriguez, do you have anything else you'd like to share based on being a staff person with AARP?
Sure. I just hope that, sharing this on YouTube will help other staff to determine that this is a great program that they should start in their states, to pull people to the volunteers, gives them also an opportunity to be part of a group.
Yes.
And
Oh,
take isolation, have a lot of fun.
Great, great. Well, thank you all so much. Now, I have something that we didn't talk about, but you keep saying you're meeting, and is this at a restaurant or is it just in an area, a room setting? Where are your meetings held?
We actually meet in the AARP state office,
Okay,
and we meet every other month on Tuesday from 10 a.m. to great opportunity to pull people together to talk about something that they have in common,
that's
which is
great.
movies.
Wonderful. Now, I hope you're serving popcorn when you're having your meeting about the movies. If not, you might want to serve a little popcorn, because what's a movie without popcorn, right? But we really thank you all so very much for being our guest today. So for our staff and volunteers, we encourage you to subscribe to the Roost News podcast on YouTube and to listen to the audio version on your favorite platform. Like us, leave some comments for these ladies. And of course, invite your colleagues and friends to listen to the Roost News podcast. So on behalf of the team, thank you. And ladies, again, you are so appreciated. And I do hope that more offices, more state offices will have this idea, will contact you. All you have to do is contact Mary Rodriguez at the state office in Nevada. Thank you. Bye-bye.
thank you.
Bye, thank you.